Good morning, guys, or evening, depending on when you're listening to this. I wanted to check in and say we miss seeing you guys at school. I'm going to read a little bit more of Wait Till Helen Comes. We're up to chapter 9, and maybe during this time at home we'll finish the book. Here we go. As Michael and I rode our bikes down the driveway, we saw Mom standing on the back porch, her hands on her hips. "Where have you been?" she said, as we braked to a stop. "At the library," I said, wheeling my bike to its place under the porch. And then we saw Mr. Simmons. Michael was too excited to notice that Mom was not smiling. "Guess what? He's going to take me fishing the next time he comes to cut the grass." "But you were supposed to be here watching Heather." Mom folded her arms tightly across her chest and frowned at me. "Didn't we talk about that just the other day?" "She was out in the carriage house with Dave when we left," I said. "You were painting, and I know you don't like being disturbed. So Michael and I just decided to go. I thought it would be all right." As Michael started to say something in my defense, he was interrupted by Dave. He stepped out on the porch to join Mom, and Heather was right behind him, peering around his legs, her pale eyes on Michael and me. "Do you two have any idea what a scare you gave us?" Dave asked us, his voice rising. "We couldn't find any of you. We called and called. Finally, I found Heather all the way down on the other side of the creek near that ruin you told your mother about. She said you took her there and then ran off and left her." I stared at him. "We didn't take her anywhere." But he went right on talking. "Why do you treat her so badly? You've made her life miserable ever since we moved out here." He was yelling now, and his face was red. "Heather's just a little girl, a very sensitive little girl. Why can't you two treat her decently? What's wrong with you two?" As Dave continued to accuse us of tormenting Heather, the poor little victim peeked at us, smiling slyly. She was enjoying every minute of this tirade. "Dave, please." Mom laid her hand on his arm, trying to calm him down. "Don't talk to Michael and Molly that way. There must be some misunderstanding." Dave turned from us to Mom. "That's right, Jean. Take their side as usual." Brushing Mom's hand away, he led Heather down the steps, past Michael and me, and strode across the driveway toward the van. "Where are you going?" Mom called after him, her voice quavering. "Dinner's ready, Dave." She started to follow him, but stopped halfway down the steps. "You all eat it. I'm taking my daughter out for dinner. She needs to get away for a while." Without looking at us, Dave slammed the van door and gunned the motor. As he roared down the driveway, I saw Heather smiling at us. "I hate him." I looked at Mom, but she had already turned away from me. I followed her up the steps. "We didn't take Heather into the woods, Mom. She lied." Mom paused at the doorway and wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. "But you could have stayed here or taken her to the library with you," she said. "None of this would have happened if you had done what I asked you to do." Michael grabbed my arm and stopped me from following Mom into the kitchen. "Drop it," he whispered. "She's really upset and you're just making things worse." His face wore its worried expression, making him look more like a little old man than usual. Pulling away from him, I crossed the kitchen to the stove. Mom was stirring the stew she cooked. "I'm sorry," I said softly. "It's all right." She watched the stew bubble and poked at it with a spoon. "Are we going to eat it?" Michael asked. "Go ahead. Help yourself." Mom handed me the spoon. "How about you?" I asked as she walked to the door. "I'm not hungry." Pushing the door open, she stepped outside. "Where are you going?" Michael ran out to the porch behind her. "For a walk." Her voice was sharp. "You eat your dinner. I'll be back soon." Silently, I filled 2 plates with stew while Michael poured our milk. After we'd eaten a few mouthfuls, Michael said, "She was crying." "I know." We looked at each other. "It's all Heather's fault. Did you see the way she was grinning when Dave was yelling at us?" Michael nodded. It's just what she wants, to cause enough trouble to ruin things for Mom and Dave. Why can't Dave see what she was doing? He's blind to everything she does. I pushed my plate away, half my stew uneaten. The kitchen was getting dark, and I felt sad looking at 3 empty plates stacked on the counter. "Do you think we should go find Mom?" Michael polished off the last of his stew by wiping his plate with a piece of bread. Then he gulped down his milk and brushed away the white mustache it left on his upper lip. "I guess so." Turning on the kitchen light to make the room look cheerier, I hesitated in the doorway. The sky was gray and the trees were dark shapes, glittering with lightning bugs. A breeze shushed through the trees, rustling the leaves and bringing with it the scent of honeysuckle. The night seemed very still, and private, and I wasn't sure if I really wanted to leave the safety of the kitchen. "Molly, are you going to stand there all night?" Michael stared at me from the driveway. The kitchen light shone on his glasses, giving him an owlish look. "I'm coming." I folded my arms across my chest, and I followed him out across the yard. The grass was cold and wet, and I could feel it soaking through my running shoes. Glancing back at the lit windows, I felt homesick for Baltimore. "Michael," I said, getting him to stop for a minute, "it was never this bad before we came here. Heather was pretty awful, but not like she is now. And we got along with Dave all right. He and Mom never had fights then." "I know. I was thinking that too. That's living out here." I looked past him at the oak tree's dark, shagging shape dominating the sky, towering over anything else. It was Helen's influence, I thought. Whether Helen had dreamed her up or not, she had made things worse. Day by day, our life seemed to grow unhappier, as if she had the ability to reach out from the grave and touch us all with her misery. "Maybe we should do what Mom said." I turned to Michael, studying his face in the moonlight. "Maybe we should really try to be nice to Heather." "Are you kidding?" "I'm worried about her, Michael. You heard what Dave said. She went back to the pond, back to Harper House. I know you don't believe she really sees a ghost, but that's not the point. Whatever makes her go there is dangerous." I paused, knowing Michael thought I was foolish. "Even Mr. Sims thinks it's a bad place to play. He doesn't believe in ghosts. He just knows kids have drowned there." Michael sighed. "Okay, Molly, you play with her. You try to be nice to her. See how far it gets you." Shrugging my hand from his arm, he started walking toward the graveyard. "I'm not having anything to do with that kid," he called back to me. "Michael, is that you?" Mom came towards us. "We were worried about you," Michael said. "It's dark." She put her arm out and drew the two of us closer to her. Then we walked back to the church, Mom in the middle, Michael and I holding her hands. "I'm sorry I got so upset," she said, pausing at the bottom of the porch steps. The kitchen light slanted out the door and shone on her face and hair, hiding her eyes in the shadow. "I'm so worried about us. Heather, everything." "I'm sorry too, Mom. Michael and I just can't get along with her. Or Dave. We do try. Honestly, we do." "I know, Molly." Mom gave me a hug. "She's such an unhappy little girl. I feel so sorry for her, but I don't know how to reach her, how to make her happy." Let's see. Okay, I'm going to pause in a minute. "Sometimes I think it might have been better for all of us if she had continued to live with her grandmother." She sat down on the steps, hugging her knees against her chest as if she were cold. "I tried to talk to Dave about her before you came home, but he said I wasn't trying. He said I didn't love her enough." Mom looked at us, her eyes filling with tears again. "She isn't easy to love," she said sadly. "Here they come," Michael said, as the van's headlights swept across us. We're going to pause there in Chapter 9. I think we're about halfway through, and we'll make another one to post later. Bye!